Good morning, everybody. This is Boomersdaddy with Spreadsheet Sports coming to you with another lineup review. This is going to cover both FanDuel and DraftKings. Obviously, those are the two main sites that we all play on. There are some other good sites that are out there. Obviously, Fantasy Aces is pretty awesome. Star Drafts, which used to be Victive, is pretty cool. They've got a unique interface over there. My personal favorite going on right now is actually Fantasy Hub. They've got a really nice salary cap system that we can take advantage of if you evaluate the value. If you analyze the value of a player, you can actually it's kind of funny because you can stack up and load up on a roster, and it's not always the one that's going to win. So not only that, but they don't need a a percentage of the winnings to charity, and usually it's the charity of your choice. They pair up with athletes, which is pretty awesome, and give away some cool stuff over there as well. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on over there at Fantasy Hub. Just want to make sure that you guys do take advantage of that. So, okay. This is something that I went back and forth on. I think this was a very unique lineup that had a chance to take down a qualifier. If you remember my article on Friday, I talked about those things that you needed to do in order to try to take down a qualifier. And I'm going to kind of break this down position by position and go from there and decide exactly where we kind of messed up. Obviously, you can see just, and this isn't just by, I don't like to be results oriented. I think that's a way you can get in trouble, because if you say that I should have played this guy instead of this guy because this guy scored more points, well, then you lose sight of the process that you've established and that you've created. Obviously, we know that Joseph Randle and Devontae Freeman went off this past week for a combined 60 points, and you were not going to win a qualifier or get a top 5% finish in a GPP if you did not have at least one of the two. You weren't going to win a qualifier unless you had both of them, or if you had, there was another running back, LeGarrette Blount, or something like that. They had to go off for 25 plus fantasy points this weekend on FanDuel in order to take down that qualifier. So that's okay. Live and learn and keep going. Keep plugging away, and hopefully not only myself, but some of you guys can learn from this, and you guys will get there as well. I still will continue to be chasing, and because I love the live final experience, and obviously that gives your best odds. And I'll be chasing on DraftKings as well. I want to be able to say I was on ESPN and I won $5 million. Who wouldn't want that, huh? So anyways, let's go position by position here. Tom Brady obviously was a pretty chalky play as far as the GPP was concerned. I felt that it was the hands down number one pick, and I kind of did this one, and this was a mistake I made because obviously Cam Newton was the play here. And I did have Cam in another GPP lineup, and I had him that same lineup in a qualifier, but the pieces surrounding him weren't as good as I would have liked. If I could have taken some of that lineup instead of this lineup, it would have obviously pushed for a lot better. Still, I'm with as as busy as we were last week and as crazy as it was with all the issues going on with the uh, um, the spreadsheets and stuff that were going on, I was really kind of happy that I was able to finish 8,000th out of 20,000 or 21,000 here. It was a really rough week for me. It was extremely busy. Not to mention, we were up in Colorado Springs for a friend's wedding. So I was, as my wife was treating it on vacation, I was trying to explain to her that I needed to work, and it was very, very interesting. A couple of the arguments that we got in. So, tip for you guys: never argue with a pregnant wife. It doesn't go very well. So, but Tom Brady here was obviously the chalk. Like I said, Cam Newton was the obvious play. He was far lower owned. He was less. He cost less, and he put up more points. And if you look at Cam's historical data against the New Orleans Saints, he crushes them, and he did it again. So I am looking forward to being able to take advantage of that later on in the year. So Ryan Matthews, I knew was going to be low owned because the news came out a couple hours before lock that DeMarco Murray would not be active, plus they were facing the Jets, plus the Eagles offense before last week hadn't really looked like the Eagles offense that we're used to seeing. They still quite haven't looked like that, but they have not looked quite as well. I still believe it's only a matter of time before they start clicking, and when they do, watch out because they are going to win somebody a GPP that sticks with them. I am not afraid to stick with them. I just pick and choose my spots right now. I do not have, above any other sport with football, I tend to not have recency biased because I know it's a week-to-week league, and we've seen it with the 49ers. They can come out and look like gangbusters the first week, and now they look like absolute complete horse crap. So I liked the Ryan Matthews play. I knew him and Darren Sproles were going to get the split. I was all over both of them. They were cheaper than any other running back that were going to get work. And they both had really good games. It was obviously Sproles that had the 2 touchdowns, could have had 3, dropped a wide open pass from Sam Bradford on a wheel route that could have been another touchdown. And but he was I'm still happy with the play and the decision making. That's something that we are going to discuss later on in the week, is how to take the actives and inactives and kind of project and replace that with their backups. So Danny Woodhead has been somebody, he came out first week, was great, and his workload has started to decrease every week. The way it kind of works as far as what I've seen in the backfield of San Diego is when the Chargers are ahead, Melvin Gordon is going to get the lion's share of the work, except for on third downs and stuff like that. When the Chargers are behind, Danny Woodhead's going to get that work. So this is where game theory kind of goes into effect, and where you have to take a look at the line and the spreads and see if game flow is going to be in your direction, in your favor. Because if you project the San Diego Chargers to be down and they're going to have to be playing catch up like they were in this game, then you're going to have to take notice of Danny Woodhead. He was getting a lot of red zone work. The reason why I think this one didn't pay off was because Keenan Allen ended up going off. So that one was a little bit weird in that aspect. So obviously Joseph Randle would have been a good play here. Devontae Freeman would have been a good play here. So there were multiple options that we could have gone to. I just don't want to be results oriented. I could have done the Joseph Randle play. He was going to get a lot of the work because Brandon Weeden is not going to push the ball downfield like Tony Romo does. So that's going to be something to look at going forward. Dante Moncrief. Dante Moncrief has been somebody that is at $6,000. I needed probably to win a GPP. I needed about 18 to 19 points out of him. I could have. I really, really did project him to get that, just because Indianapolis has been so bad on defense that I knew they were going to allow points to Tennessee. I knew they were going to have to throw, and I'm not so sure about the health of T.Y. Hilton, but Andre Johnson is horrible right now. So it's one of those things that he's going to be a nice value play. $6,000 is great. But if he's going to win you a GPP, he's got to go off for 18 to 20 points. So AJ Green, stud, cheapest stud in the NFL right now. Low owned each and every single week. I've capitalized off of that. He normally tears up Baltimore. We can keep keying on that Baltimore defense as much as possible. They are not very good except for against the tight ends. Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski. Oh gosh, this is where it bit me the most, probably, because I did a three-man correlation play. Obviously, it's negative correlation for Julian and Gronk, but with having Brady in there, I felt like it could offset it. Scoring 51 points and having Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski only get 24.6 points combined is I would have bet against it. I'd bet against it every single time. If you told me that the Patriots are going to score 51 points and Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski are not going to score a touchdown, I would bet against you. I would say you're nuts, you're crazy, and at least on Sunday you would have taken my money. So that was kind of weird. You see the ownership percentages on the Patriots; they're going to continue to be high owned. Remember, we don't have to go contrarian in every single play. I had some low-owned players in here that paid off. Just some of the other ones didn't pay off. So Graham Gano is kickers are the hardest. I tend to go for high-scoring games and domes where I don't have kicker or quarterbacks or wide receivers or anything. So there's no negative correlation there. I tend to go teams that have a field goal in their Vegas projections. So instead of 21.5, they're 24.5. And I want to take the element of weather out completely. So like I said, I go for domes, good weather games. Games are on turf, games where there's not a lot of wind. So it's really, really, really kind of a crapshoot from week to week. I wish FanDuel would get rid of it because I've lost head-to-heads because a kicker got an extra point on a garbage time touchdown. I've lost qualifiers because kickers have kicked a 30-yard field goal or a 39-yard field goal instead of a 40-yard field goal, which is a difference of 1 point. So it's kind of like the win factor in baseball for pitchers. I think it's more of a dart throw than it is an analysis type thing. Sure, you can break down the stats, you can go through the Vegas lines, but there's really no science behind it like there is every other position. As far as the Carolina Panthers, I thought they were in a good spot. Obviously, going against Luke McCown, they were 15.1% owned. Them and the Patriots D were some of the two higher owned defenses of the afternoon. I did have exposure to the Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals defenses as well. It was one of those things with the Carolina Panthers. They kind of fit, and I thought they were in a good position going against Luke McCown. They were at home. They were favored. It was outside, and it was on grass. I know that sounds really, really crazy, but that's kind of how I go for it because plays happen slower on grass than they do obviously on turf. New Orleans isn't as good on the road as they are at home. I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of go about that, but the Carolina defense is about to get a little bit better because they now have Jeff Allen coming in. So they just didn't create enough turnovers. That's what you look for when you project defenses is turnovers, sacks, hopefully get lucky with a defensive and special teams touchdowns. But it's so hard to pitch a shutout in the NFL anymore. Typically, teams score around 14 to 17 points in a game. So if you basically go to the scoring page and go to the defense's points allowed, if you just go through the 14 and 17 and you say, okay, this is where my defenses have to start every single week, I think it's 4 points. It's either 4 or 6. I can't remember. Wherever that is, that's where your defenses start. Don't look at the automatic 10 that you get because it's extremely hard to keep it up that unless they start getting those sacks, those turnovers, those fumbles, those picks, those touchdowns, special teams touchdowns and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I project defenses. All right. This is the MillyMaker winner from DraftKings this past weekend. Congratulations to Hoothead. If you watch this, you are a stud. You had a lot more balls than I did this weekend because I could not get myself to play LeGarrette Blount. And because I've been burned by the New England Patriots so many times as far as the backfield is concerned. So obviously, going down this lineup, there is some chalk in there. Brandon Marshall, 29.7% owned. Larry Fitzgerald, 24.7% owned. And the Seattle Seahawks defense at 30.7% owned. This should show you don't have to always fade the chalk to win these big tournaments. So $1.2 million is a big prize, ladies and gentlemen. So it's kind of nice. Let's see here. Obviously, Devontae Freeman, Joseph Randle, both under 8% owned. That was freaking huge because it was 75 points right there. Cam Newton, under 7% owned. Again, I already said this in the other one, 32.9%. Or 32.9 points. Then you got Greg Olsen and LeGarrette Blount. This should show you, in order to win one of these big tournaments like this, in order to take down qualifiers, you have to hit the nuts. It is not easy. It is extremely difficult. And the fact that players like Beep I'm a Jeep and Ganondorf and Some of these other guys that have taken down multiple qualifiers are they obviously have an eye for the tournament, and they have gotten some things to hit for them. So I've gotten close. I came in second. I can't tell you how many times, and I'm sick of second place finishes. So hopefully I can get back there pretty quick as well. So all right, guys, this is it for right now. I will have a Fantasy Hub optimal lineup coming out a little bit later. Got some NFL research to do, got some college research to do. College will be out tomorrow, and we will have a good weekend coming up. We are speaking positive. We don't have anything going on this week as far as distractions. Brian is back in town. Yay, Brian. And Keith is no longer trying to fix the data points. So, guys, he's the brains behind the outfit. I'm just the sports junkie and sports nut. So take it easy on me. I will have another NFL podcast and article coming out on Friday, and obviously Saturday as well. Friday will be a kind of how I want to attack this weekend, and Saturday will be my cash game and GPP picks. And then I'm looking to do a kind of a live show on Sunday morning. Trying to get Brian in with that and see if we can discuss some things and possibly get a Google Hangouts going for you guys, answer some questions. It kind of helps. I know there's a bunch of other shows out there as well, but it really does help to have more than a couple different opinions and get an outlook from other people as well. So, guys, for Spreadsheet Sports, Boomersdaddy is signing off. Make sure you like our YouTube page. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Sheet Sports, at BoomersDFSDaddy. Have a great day, everybody, and good luck.